Hello everybody, I'm Thomas. Welcome back to another video. This time I'm back with another Pub Meeple video where I will be ranking pretty much my entire board game collection. So if you didn't see the last video I did like this, I did it almost exactly a year ago where I went through all the games in my collection and ranked them using this site called Pub Meeple. Pub Meeple is a great site. I'll have it linked in the description along with the previous video where you essentially can enter a bunch of things and then you do one-on-one comparisons, and then at the end you'll get a list of everything kind of ranked. So I used that last year to go through and rank all of the games in my collection. The only caveat I made was I need to have played the game at least twice. So I had 73 games total last year that I ranked, and yeah, it was a lot of fun doing this. I had an interesting top 10. I think it's gonna be really different this year. I had like a Turing Machine, Fantastic Factories, The Crew, D&D, Keyforge, Kanban, Railroad Inc., Twilight Inscription, Arkham Horror, and Jump Drive were my previous top 10. So this is going to be the first of 3 videos I'm doing of this type this year, because I want to split up how I'm going to be doing this video. So today's video will just be board games, nothing else, because last time I included RPGs. I'm going to be doing another one of these in about 2 weeks where I'll be doing a similar comparison using Pub Meeple, but with only RPGs I've played, and then I will be doing a third and final video where I'll be doing the same thing, but with card games that I played on the channel that you could play with just a standard 52 deck of cards. But for this video, we're just ranking board games. So my current collection as of today, when I've entered this, of games I've played at least twice, I have about 80 games. So not too much, only 7 more games than last year. So I've added a good amount, got rid of a good amount. And yeah, I'm gonna make some quick predictions for what I think my top 10 are gonna be. I could see Bullet Heart. That's a new one, so I'm kind of still in the honeymoon phase with that, but I could see that being in the top 10. Decrypto I like a lot. Fantastic Factories will still probably be up there. Gaia Project will be high, probably not top 10. Jump Drive I imagine will be top 10. Kanban I don't think will be top 10 anymore. Noobs in Space might be pretty close, but probably not top 10. Space Empires and Sky Team I think will both be top 10. Stardew will probably be up there. The Crew will probably be up there. Search for Planet X might make it up there. I like that one a whole lot. Turing Machine will, I would be surprised if it's not in the top 10. Twilight Inscription will probably be up there. Yeah, so that's kind of what my thoughts are on this. That's pretty much all I need to get out of the way, so let's just go ahead and hop right into this. And one last little quick note before I hop into this. I do apologize if my audio or video sounds different this video. I just recently wiped my laptop, so I've been having to reset up some of my profiles for recording and all of that and readjusting stuff. So you'll have to bear with me if anything is a little bit off, but I'm just kind of slowly reworking and resetting up all of my stuff. So let's go ahead and start the ranking. 80 items. It could take me 282 comparisons. I'm gonna try to get through them pretty quickly. I'm not gonna try to speed through it, but at the same time, I don't want to spend too much time on any individual comparisons because there's a lot to get through. And I don't want to like overthink it too much. I kind of just want to be a gut reaction. I might give a little bit of a thought on, why I choose this and maybe some opinions on some games, but you'll see not every game in my collection I'm a huge fan of, and some of them, the more I've played them, the more I dislike them, or the more I play them, the more I like them. So let's get started. First comparison is Railroad Inc. and Spirit Island. Definitely Railroad Inc. Spirit Island I'm kind of on. Sprawlopolis or Startups. I do like Sprawlopolis quite a bit. Suburbia or Stardew. I really like Stardew. I think it's a great game. Powerline or Pokemon the trading card game. Pokemon's pretty great. Powerline's pretty great. That's kind of a tough one. I'm gonna have to go Pokemon. I haven't played it in a while, but it's pretty great. Palm Island or Next Station London. Both pretty good. Next Station London. Keyforge or Monopoly Deal, definitely Keyforge. Detective or La Havre. I've only played a bit of Detective, but I really like it. The Crew or Coup, definitely Crew. Codenames Duet or Hive Pocket, Codenames Duet. Welcome to or World of Warcraft Wrath of the Lich King Pandemic game. I really like that a whole lot. Jump Drive or Welcome to the Moon. I'm a big Jump Drive fan. Welcome to the Dungeon or Cat in the Box. Cat in the Box kind of let me down, so I'm gonna go with Welcome to the Dungeon here. Ugly Griffin Inn or Acropolis. I'm not a big fan of Ugly Griffin Inn. It's probably my least favorite button shy game I've played so far. Fallout or Gaia Project? Interesting comparison. I like both of them quite a bit. I really like the theme and the IP of Fallout, but Gaia Project plays. It's a really fun game. So I'm probably have to give it to Gaia Project, just barely though. Three Sisters, a Tiny Epic Dungeons. I've really kind of cooled on Tiny Epic Dungeons, and Three Sisters is one I wasn't crazy about at first, and it's kind of grown on me. These two, not really a huge fan of either. Tiny Epic Galaxies I've kind of cooled on, but I'll still take that over Friday. Whew, that's a tough comparison because I figured both of these would be in my top 10. Sky Team or Space Empires 4X? I really like Space Empires 4X, but Sky Team also is like so thematic, so fun. I'm gonna have to give it to Sky Team. Railroad Ink or Skull? I think Railroad Ink is just an honest classic. It's probably one of my favorite simple roll and writes. It's kind of hard to beat. Skull or Spirit Island? Let's give it to Skull. I'm not a big Spirit Island guy. That's pretty clever. Railroad Ink, Lush Green. I mean, I'd have to give it to pretty clever because Lush Green really didn't change the game too much. It did a fair amount, but Taco Cat, Goat Cheese Pizza, or Sprawlopolis? Definitely Taco Cat. Spot It or Robinson Crusoe? I wasn't a huge fan of Robinson Crusoe, so I'm gonna give it to Spot It. Stardew or Sushi Go? Definitely Stardew. Sushi Go or Suburbia? I haven't played Suburbia in a while, but I do quite like it. Race for the Galaxy or Search for Planet X? This is a tough one. I haven't played Race for the Galaxy in a while. Search for Planet X is a new one in my collection, but I've been really, really enjoying it. I'm gonna have to give it to Search for Planet X. I know, that's maybe a hot take, but you know, there's gonna be a lot of these hot takes in here, and also a lot of just lukewarm ones. Rage More Pokemon, I'll give it to Pokemon. Rage More Powerline, definitely Powerline. Pocket Paragons or Point City, both I enjoy. Point City I'm not crazy about. It's just kind of, it's okay. Pocket Paragons I like a lot. It's a cool concept, cool characters, plays pretty quick. Orchard or Next Station, I'll give it to Orchard. Noobs in Space or One Deck Dungeon, I'll give it to Noobs in Space. Keyforge or No Thanks, definitely Keyforge. Monopoly Deal or No Thanks, maybe a hot take. I like Monopoly Deal a lot. It was pretty high up in my last ranking, and I should clarify, I am not a fan of the original Monopoly. I do not like the original Monopoly, but I think Monopoly Deal is pretty fantastic. So I will give it to Monopoly Deal. Love Letter or Magic the Gathering? Love Letter is pretty great. Detective or High Society? We'll go with Detective. High Society or Le Havre? We'll go with Le Havre. Curious Cargo or Decrypto? I've been really liking Decrypto. The Crew or Hadrian's Wall? The Crew is an honest classic for me. Hadrian's Wall over Coup. Imperium Legends or Coffee Roasters? Both I've kind of cooled on. I'll give it to Coffee Roasters. Codenames Duet or Cockroach Poker? I really like Codenames Duet. Cockroach Poker or Hive Pocket? I'll give it to Cockroach Poker. Hive, I'm not a big abstract guy, so Cascadia or Tiny Epic Galaxies? We'll give it to Cascadia. Wrath of the Lich King or Yu-Gi-Oh? We'll give it to Wrath of the Lich King. Yu-Gi-Oh or Welcome To? This is a weird comparison. I'll give it to Welcome To. It's Yu-Gi-Oh! It's, I don't know. I like the idea of it, and I have some nostalgia for it, but yeah, I don't know. It could be kind of complicated. Your decks, you know, there's a lot of deck building and whatnot. Kanban or Unsurmountable? I'm gonna have to give it to Kanban, even though I've still yet to beat the game. Bullet Heart or Jump Drive? Man, oh man, this is a tough one because Bullet Heart's new to me. I've only had it for a couple weeks, but I've played it a ton in these past few weeks. Jump Drive is one that I like more than Race for the Galaxy. I definitely think it's gonna appear above that. I need to think for a second on this because I like engine building games. I like the solo campaign in Jump Drive, but Bullet Heart's really, really fun. I mean, I think there's more game to Jump Drive, but if I just had to pick one, you know, if they're both games are on the shelf, I can only grab one. I'm gonna have to give it to Bullet Heart. I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's still new to me, but I really like it. Warp's Edge or Just One? I really like Just One. Welcome To or Bandito? I'm not a huge fan of Bandito, so I'll give it to Welcome To. Bandito or Cat in the Box? I'd give Cat in the Box over Bandito. Seven Wonders or Attack on Titan deck building game? Seven Wonders I'm alright on. Attack on Titan deck building game. I mean, I love Attack on Titan. It's still by far my favorite show. But it's a hard game, and the rules are kind of weird, but I do enjoy it, so I'll give it to that. Dominion or Acropolis? I haven't played Dominion in so long, but it's probably one of my favorite deck builders, so... Fantastic Factories or Food Chain Island? Of course, Fantastic Factories. Gaia Project or Arkham Horror? I mean, Arkham Horror has been a long time classic of a favorite of mine. But Gaia Projects has been really growing on me the more I've been learning it. So I'm gonna give it to Gaia Project. Arkham Horror or Fallout, I'll give it to Arkham Horror for sure. Turing Machine or the game, definitely Turing Machine. Three Sisters or Tiny Epic Western. I'll give it to Western. It's pretty unique. I like the whole poker aspect. Ooh, Twilight Inscription or For Northwood. Both games that I could see being in my top 10 or top 15. Obviously both very different. One's a epic roll and write, the other a solo trick-taking game. Both fantastic in my opinion. I think I'm about to give it to Twilight Inscription, but that's a tough one. Galaxies or Zombies. Honestly, I've kind of cooled on both of these. If I had to choose one, probably Zombies. Sky Team or Railroad Inc. Definitely Sky Team. Railroad Inc. or Space Empires. Weird comparison. I'm going with my gut and just going Space Empires. Taco Cat or That's Pretty Clever. I don't know. That's Pretty Clever never really clicked with me, so I'm going to give it to Taco Cat. But I'll choose... Well, I'll choose Sprawlopolis over That's Pretty Clever. But I will choose That's Pretty Clever over Startups. Railroad Inc. over Startups. Startups I haven't played in a while. I haven't played much of it, so maybe I'm being a bit unfair. Maybe I should have just excluded it from this list, but we're already started. So Stardew for sure over Spot It. We'll go Suburbia over Spot It. Spot It's fun, but it's, pretty simple. Sushi Go over Spot It. Planet X over Pokemon. Race for the Galaxy over Pokemon. I like Orchard. Orchard's good, but it's pretty chill. Pretty simple. Let's go with Pocket Paragons. I will go Orchard over Point City, and Next Station London over Point City. Palm Island over Point City? Yeah. Keyforge or Noobs in Space? I've been really enjoying my plays of Noobs in Space, but Keyforge is such a classic that the solo adventures and I like everything about Keyforge, so I'll give it to Keyforge. Noobs in Space for sure over Monopoly Deal. Monopoly Deal over One Deck Dungeon. I'll take No Thanks over One Deck Dungeon. I'm not a huge fan of either, if I'm being honest. Detective over Love Letter. I haven't played Le Havre in a while. I'll go Love Letter over Le Havre. And probably Le Havre over Magic. Magic over High Society. That's a tough one. This is a tough one, because I've been really enjoying Decrypto. The Crew is a classic. I'm going to have to give it to The Crew, but Decrypto is going to give, it's going to be up there, I imagine. I'll have to pick Decrypto over Hadrian's Wall. Hadrian's Wall versus Curious Cargo. I'll give it to Hadrian's Wall. Hadrian's Wall is pretty great. Curious Cargo over Coup. Codenames Duet over Coffee Roasters. I would choose Cockroach Poker over Coffee Roaster. And Coffee Roaster over Hive. I would probably choose Hive over Imperium Legends. I really kind of cooled on Imperium Legends. Wrath of the Lich King over Cascadia. This is tough. Well, probably Welcome to over Cascadia. Don't hate it, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Over Tiny Epic Galaxy. Bullet Heart over Kanban. Jump Drive over Kanban. I've literally only played Welcome to the Moon twice, so it barely qualified for this list, and there's a lot to it that I haven't played. Kanban is a really cool design. I just wish I was better at it, and it didn't take so long to play. I'm gonna have to give it to Kanban for now. Welcome to the Moon or Unsurmountable. Unsurmountable is a lot of fun. Maybe one of my favorite Button Shy games. I'll give it to them. Just One over Welcome to the Dungeon. I'll go Warp's Edge over Welcome to the Dungeon. Attack on Titan over Dominion. I'd choose Dominion over Seven Wonders, yeah. Agropolis versus Seven Wonders Duel. We'll take Seven Wonders Duel. Gaia Project versus Fantastic Factories. We'll choose Fantastic Factories. Gaia Project versus Food Chain Island. We'll go Gaia Project. Food Chain Island versus Arkham. We'll choose Arkham. Food Chain Island versus Fallout. We'll choose Fallout. Turing Machine versus Tiny Epic Western. Turing Machine. Tiny Epic Western versus the game. Tiny Epic Western. Three Sisters versus the game. I choose Three Sisters. Tiny Epic Dungeons versus the game. I choose the game. Tiny Epic Zombies versus Twilight Inscription. For sure Twilight Inscription. And for sure for Northwood. Sky Team versus Taco Cat Go Cheese Pizza. We'll choose Sky Team. Space Empires over Taco Cat. Railroad Inc. over Taco Cat. I like Taco Cat, but I'd probably choose Skull over it. But I would choose Taco Cat over Spirit Island. Sprawlopolis over Spirit Island. That's pretty clever over Spirit Island. Railroad Inc. over Spirit Island. Startups over Spirit Island. Search for Planet X and Stardew. Both new games in my collection. I'm just gonna go with my gut. I really enjoy the Stardew game. I will give it to Stardew. Search for Planet X, I think, does beat out Suburbia. Race for the Galaxy, I'd say beats out Suburbia. Pokemon probably beats out Suburbia. Powerline beats out Suburbia. Ragemore, I'm kind of iffy on. I'd definitely choose Suburbia over that. Sushi Go Party over Ragemore. Spotted over Ragemore. Okay, I'm not crazy about either of these games. I'll choose Ragemore. Keyforge versus Pocket Paragon. Pretty apt comparison, you know, head-to-head dueling games, but definitely got to give it to Keyforge. Noobs in Space versus Pocket Paragons. I really like Noobs in Space. Pocket Paragons versus Monopoly Deal. Really interesting comparison. I'm probably got to give it to Pocket Paragons, even though it's just one-on-one game. Monopoly Deal versus Orchard. I'll give it to Monopoly Deal. Orchard over No Thanks, for sure. Next Station London over No Thanks. I'd choose Palm Island over No Thanks. Point City versus No Thanks. I'd choose Point City. The Crew versus Detective, for sure. The Crew. Detective versus Decrypto, we'll give it to Crypto. Hadrian's Wall versus Detective, we'll give it to Hadrian's Wall. Curious Cargo over Detective, I'll take Detective on that one. Curious Cargo versus Love Letter, we'll take Curious Cargo. Coup versus Love Letter, we'll go Love Letter. Le Havre over Coup, we'll choose Le Havre. Magic versus Coup, not a big fan of Coup. High Society versus Coup, we'll choose High Society. I also haven't played Coup in a while, so maybe that's just part of it. Wrath of the Lich King versus Codenames Duet. I'd give it to Wrath of the Lich King. It's pretty fun. Welcome 2 versus... I'd give Welcome 2 over Codenames. Cascadia over... I'd give Codenames over Cascadia. Cockroach Poker versus Cascadia. I'll give Cascadia. Yu-Gi-Oh! Versus Cockroach Poker. I'd give it to Yu-Gi-Oh! Tiny Epic Galaxy versus Cockroach Poker. Oh, Cockroach Poker. Tiny Epic Galaxy versus Coffee Roaster. We'll go Coffee Roaster. Hive versus Tiny Epic. I'd still go Hive. Imperium Legends versus Tiny Epic Galaxy. We'll go Imperium Legends. Bullet Heart versus Just One, for sure Bullet Heart. Jump Drive versus Just One, for sure Jump Drive. Kanban versus Just One, for sure Just One. Warp's Edge versus Kanban, we'll go Kanban. Warp's Edge versus Unsurmountable, Unsurmountable wins. Warp's Edge versus Welcome to the Moon. Warp's Edge is pretty unique. I'll give it to Warp's Edge. Welcome to the Dungeon versus Welcome to the Moon. Battle of the Welcome Twos. We'll give it to Welcome to the Moon. Fantastic Factories versus Attack on Titan deck building game. I love Fantastic Factories. Gaia Project versus Attack on Titan. We'll give it to Gaia Project. Attack on Titan versus Arkham. I'm gonna have to give it to Arkham, even though this game is great. I love Attack on Titan, but I think I will have to give it to Fallout in this case, though. Fallout's great. Attack on Titan beats Food Chain. Food Chain beats Dominion. Oof, Twilight Inscription versus Turing Machine. I'm gonna give it a Turing Machine. This is a tough one though. Twilight Inscription beats Epic Western. For Northwood beats Tiny Epic Western. Tiny Epic Western beats Tiny Epic Zombies. Three Sisters beats Tiny Epic Zombies. I would put the game over Tiny Epic Zombies, but Zombies over Dungeons. I guess Galaxies over Dungeons. I've kind of really cooled on a lot of the Tiny Epic games. Boy, oh boy, these are not favorites of mine. I guess I'd choose Friday, but oof, okay. Stardew Valley versus Sky Team. This is one I'm gonna have to think about for a second. This is tough. I just kind of need to make a decision. I'm gonna go Stardew. I really like Sky Team a lot, but Stardew 1 has kind of just, there's so much game to it. Not that there isn't with Sky Team. But Sky Team is really fun, and it's really quick, and it's pretty compact. Stardew, there's a lot to it. I guess I'll give it to Sky Team. Stardew versus Space Empires. Man, oh man, these are the tough ones. I'm gonna give it to Stardew. Space Empires is great though. Space Empires for sure beats Planet X. Planet X versus Railroad Inc. I'll give it to Planet X. Railroad Inc. versus Race for the Galaxy. Railroad Inc. Race for the Galaxy beats Skull. I would say Pokemon beats Skull. Powerline beats Skull. Skull beats Suburbia. Suburbia beats Taco Cat. Sushi Go beats Taco Cat. Pretty good classic kind of dexterity quick games. I'd go with Taco Cat. Sprawlopolis probably over Spotted. That's pretty clever over Spotted. Spotted over Railroad Ink Green. I'll go Railroad Ink Green over Ragemore. Startups over Ragemore. Spear and Island over Ragemore. The Crew versus Keyforge. That's a tough one. I'm gonna go with the Crew. I'm trying to just keep these comparisons quick, but this is one I could probably sit here and think about. Keyforge versus Decrypto. Ah, man. Just going by gut, I gotta go Decrypto. Keyforge is great. I love Keyforge, but Keyforge beats Hadrian's Wall. Noobs in Space beats Hadrian's Wall. This is tough. Pocket Paragons I'd put above Hadrian's Wall. Hadrian's Wall I'd put above Monopoly Deal. Monopoly Deal versus Detective. I'll give it to Detective. That's been a lot of fun playing that. Monopoly Deal over Curious Cargo. Curious Cargo over Orchard. Orchard over Love Letter, yeah. Love Letter over Next Station. Next Station over Le Havre. Le Havre over probably Palm Island, yeah. And then Palm Island above Magic. Point City above... I'm not a huge Magic fan. I do like it better than No Thanks, I would say. High Society, probably better than No Thanks. I haven't played Coup in a while, but I put that above No Thanks. Bullet Heart definitely above Wrath. Jump Drive over Wrath. Just One over Wrath. Wrath of the Lich King over Kanban. I'll still keep Kanban in the race. I like it. I haven't played it in a while. Unsurmountable beats Welcome To. Welcome To beats Warp's Edge. Codenames beats Warp's Edge. Cascadia versus Warp's Edge. I'd give it to Warp's Edge. Cascadia versus Welcome to the Moon. Give it to Welcome to the Moon. Cascadia beats Welcome to the Dungeon. Welcome to the Dungeon versus Yu-Gi-Oh! I'll give it to Yu-Gi-Oh! I'll go with Cockroach Poker here. Welcome to the Dungeon over Coffee Roasters. Coffee Roasters over Cat in the Box. Hive over Cat in the Box. Imperium Legends. I guess Cat in the Box. I don't know. Imperium Legends over Bandito. Boy, oh boy. I guess Tiny Epic Galaxy over Bandito. Turing Machine versus Fantastic Factories. This comparison again. I'm just gonna go with my gut. Turing Machine. Both games are great. I like them. Turing Machine is just so innovative, so fun. Fantastic Factories is a great engine builder, but Fantastic Factories versus Twilight Inscription. I'm gonna give it to Twilight Inscription. For Northwood versus Fantastic Factories. That seems not fair. Because I really like Fort Northwood. I really like Fantastic Factories. Both great games. Going with my gut, I'm going Fort Northwood. It feels wrong, but I think that's right. Tiny Epic Western versus Gaia Project. We'll go Gaia Project. Arkham over Western. Fallout over Western. Attack on Titan over Western. Food Chain Island over Western. Western over Dominion. Dominion over Three Sisters. Three Sisters over Seven Wonders Duel. Seven Wonders Duel over The Game. The Game over Agropolis. Agropolis over Tiny Epic. Tiny Epic Zombies over Ugly Griffin. Tiny Epic Galaxies over Ugly Griffin. Probably Friday over Ugly Griffin, if I'm being honest. Tiny Epic Dungeons. I'm not a big fan of Ugly Griffin. The Crew versus Sky Team. I'm giving it to Sky Team. I don't want to think about it. Oh, God. Stardew versus The Crew. These are some of the tough ones. I'm just going with Stardew. I don't know. It feels wrong. The Crew versus Space Empires. I forgot how tough some of these decisions are. Because The Crew is just such a classic trick-taking co-op game. It's one of my favorites, but Space Empires has really been a lot of fun. I'm gonna give it to Space Empires. I don't want to think too much about it. The Crew does beat Search for Planet X. Oh boy, Search for Planet X or Decrypto. I'll give it to Decrypto. Search for Planet X is pretty great though. I'd put it above Keyforge? No, I wouldn't. But Keyforge is great. Noobs in Space versus Search for Planet X. Man, I'll give it to Noobs in Space. I really like it, but Search for Planet X beats Pocket Paragons. Railroad Ink beats Pocket Paragons. Pocket Paragons beats Race for the Galaxy. Hadrian's Wall beats Race for the Galaxy. Detective beats Race for the Galaxy. I'd say Race for the Galaxy over Monopoly Deal. Pokemon over Monopoly Deal. Monopoly Deal over Powerline. Curious Cargo over Powerline. Orchard over Powerline. Love Letter over Powerline. Next Station London over Powerline. Powerline over Le Havre. Le Havre over the Skull. Skull over Palm Island. We'll go Palm Island over Suburbia. Suburbia over Point City. Sushi Go over Point City. Point City over Taco Cat. Taco Cat over Magic. I'll give Magic over Sprawlopolis, even though I haven't played in a while. Sprawlopolis over High Society. High Society over That's Pretty Clever. Coup over That's Pretty Clever. That's Pretty Clever over No Thanks. Spotted over No Thanks. Railroad Ink over No Thanks. Startup over No Thanks. I'd put Spirit Island over No Thanks. I guess No Thanks beats Ragemore. Ragemore versus One Deck Dungeon. I'd give it to One Deck. Turing Machine versus Bullet. For sure, Bullet. I've been having such a blast. Jump Drive versus Turing Machine. I really like Jump Drive. I don't know what to say. Turing Machine versus Just One. For sure, Turing Machine. Twilight Inscription versus Just One. I would give Twilight Inscription. For Northwood versus Just One. I like For Northwood. Fantastic Factories versus Just One. We'll go Fantastic Factories. Gaia Project versus Just One. Have to give it to Gaia Project. Arkham Horror versus Just One. I'm doing Just One. I gotta give it some credit. It's a good game. Arkham beats Wrath of the Lich King. Didn't we already have this comparison, or was that a different game? I'm gonna give it to Fallout just because of the IP and Attack on Titan. But this is good. I'll give it to Food Chain Island. That's such a good, it's such a good game. Western versus Wrath. I'll give it to Western. I don't know. Wrath beats Dominion. Kanban beats Dominion. Unsurmountable beats Dominion. Welcome to beats Dominion. Codenames Duet beats Dominion. I'd pick Warp's Edge. Dominion over Warp's Edge. Three Sisters versus Warp's Edge. That's kind of a tough one. I'd go Warp's Edge. Three Sisters versus Welcome to the Moon. Welcome to the Moon. Three Sisters over Cascadia. Yeah, I don't know. Probably Seven Wonders Duel. Over Cascadia. I'd probably pick the game over Cascadia. Agropolis versus Cascadia. I'd pick Cascadia over Tiny Epic Zombies. Yu-Gi-Oh! Over Tiny Epic Zombies. Cockroach Poker over Tiny Epic Zombies. Welcome to the Dungeon over Tiny Epic Zombies. I'd take Zombies over Coffee Roasters. Take Coffee Roaster over Galaxy. Hive over Galaxies. I guess Cat in the Box over Galaxies. Imperium, I suppose. This is the same game. I didn't catch that. I don't know how that happened. So I'll just pick one, and there's going to be two Tiny Epic Galaxies, I guess, in there. My bad. Bandito versus Tiny Epic. I'm not a big fan of Bandito. I like Friday better than Bandito. I like Tiny Epic Dungeons better than Bandito. I guess Bandito is better than Ugly Griffin. Sky Team versus Bullet Heart. This might be for the number one position. I've been really liking Bullet Heart, a lot. But Sky Teams is so good. It's so fun. I love a good co-op game. It sucks that it's two-player only, but it makes sense in terms of the game. I like the dice rolling, the dice mitigation, the different levels, all the different airports, and you can change the difficulties, the different modules. Bullet Heart's really good. I'm gonna give it to Sky Team just because Bullet Heart's a bit new, and I think I might be, kind of in the honeymoon phase of the game where I still have, since it's still new to me. But that's a tough one. Bullet Heart versus Stardew, both great games, both fantastic games. I'll give it to Bullet Heart, but that's a tough one. Jump Drive versus Stardew. These are got to be for the top spots because these are some tough ones. I really like both. I'll give it to Jump Drive though. Stardew versus Turing Machine. I'm giving it to Stardew. Turing Machine versus Space Empires. Oh man, I'm giving it to Space Empires. That's been a lot of fun. I like the crew over Turing Machine. The Turing Machine over Decrypto. Decrypto versus Twilight Inscription. I'll give it to Decrypto. Twilight Inscription versus Keyforge. These are some of the toughest comparisons. We'll go with, I don't know, Keyforge. Keyforge is a classic. Noobs in Space versus Twilight Inscription. I'll give it to Noobs in Space. Search for Planet X versus Twilight Inscription. We'll go Search for Planet X. Railroad Inc. versus Twilight Inscription. A light rolling right versus a heavy rolling right. I'm gonna go with Railroad Inc. It's, like I said, it's a classic in my eyes. Pocket Paragons versus Twilight Inscription. I'll give it to Twilight Inscription. For Northwood versus Pocket Paragons. For Northwood. Fantastic Factories versus Pocket Paragons. Fantastic Factories. Gaia Project versus Pocket Paragons. We'll go with Gaia Project. Even though Pocket Paragons, really good. Just One beats Pocket Paragons. Arkham beats Pocket Paragons. I put Pocket Paragons over Fallout. Fallout, probably over Hadrian's Wall, but that's a pretty close one. Attack on Titan, probably over Hadrian's Wall, but once again, I would say that's pretty close. Hadrian's Wall over Food Chain. Detective over Food Chain Island. I really like Food Chain Island, but Race for the Galaxy, I guess. Pokemon, yeah. Monopoly Deal, yeah, over Food Chain. I'm putting Food Chain over Curious Cargo. And Western over Curious Cargo. I guess Wrath of the Lich King over Curious Cargo. I put Curious Cargo over Kanban. I'd put Orchard over Kanban. I'd probably put Love Letter over Kanban. Kanban over Next Station, for sure. Unsurmountable over Next Station. Welcome to, I like Welcome to, it's a classic. Codenames Duet over Next Station London. We'll go Next Station London over Dominion. Powerline over Dominion. Le Havre over Dominion. Skull over Dominion. It's been a while since I played Dominion. Dominion over Palm Island over Warp's Edge. Warp's Edge over Suburbia. Welcome to the Moon over Suburbia. Three Sisters over Suburbia. Suburbia over Seven Wonders. Probably Seven Wonders over Sushi Go Party. Probably the game over Sushi Go Party. Sushi Go Party over Agropolis. Probably Point City over Agropolis. Taco Cat over Agropolis. Magic the Gathering over Agropolis. Sprawlopolis versus Agropolis. I don't know. We'll go with Agropolis. And Sprawlopolis over Cascadia. We'll go High Society over Cascadia and Coup over Cascadia. That Cascadia over That's Pretty Clever. We're getting close to the end. Probably go Yu-Gi-Oh over That's Pretty Clever. That's Pretty Clever over Cockroach Poker. Cockroach Poker over Spotted. Spotted over Welcome to the Dungeon. Railroad Ink over Welcome to the Dungeon. Startups over Welcome to the Dungeon. Spirit Island over Welcome to the Dungeon. Welcome to the Dungeon over No Thanks. Tiny Epic Zombies over No Thanks. No Thanks versus Coffee Roasters. I guess No Thanks. One Deck Dungeon versus Coffee Roasters. Probably Coffee Roaster. Hive Pocket versus One Deck Dungeon. Hive Pocket. Cat in the Box versus One Deck. I guess Cat in the Box. Imperium Legends versus One Deck. I guess Imperium Legends. Tiny Epic Galaxies versus One Deck. I guess I'll give it to One Deck. Tiny Epic Galaxies versus Ragemore. We'll go with that. And this is the same comparison because there's two of them, I guess. That's my bad. Friday versus Ragemore. I'll give it to Ragemore. Friday versus Robinson Crusoe. That's kind of an appropriate, maybe not an appropriate, but it's a thematic comparison. And I'll give it to Robinson Crusoe. And that's it. So here are the final results with my number one game of, I guess this is for last year. So for 2023, the Sky Team. I think that's appropriate. Sky Team is just a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Bullet Heart being number 2 is kind of a surprise to me, but also I've been playing it for like the past 3 weeks. I've been playing it a ton and I really enjoy it. So I could see that. Jump Drive being 3, that checks out. I'm a big Jump Drive fan. Stardew Valley being 4, Space Empires being 5, The Crew being 6, Turing Machine being 7, Decrypto 8, Keyforge 9. Where the heck is Fantastic Factories is 15. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Man, oh man. What else? I kind of skipped around. Keyforge is 9, Noobs of Space 10, Search Planet X is 11, Railroad Ink is 12, Twilight Inscription 13, For Northwood 14, and Fantastic Factories is 15. So I think I did a pretty good job at guesstimating where a lot of these were going to be. I'll slowly scroll through these just so you can see where stuff is at. But I'm curious what's at the bottom. I have an idea of what's at the bottom, but let me scroll down, build suspense. What's at the bottom what's like the bottom 10? So we have Ugly Griffin Inn, Bandito, Tiny Epic Dungeons, Friday, Robinson Crusoe, Ragemore, Tiny Epic Galaxies, both of them, I guess. One Deck Dungeon, Imperium Legends, and Cat in the Box. I guess Hive, if I'm counting just one of these, which checks out. Those are games I've just either cooled on or I didn't really like that much in the first place, I guess. Yeah, I guess, this year, I don't imagine a lot of these games at the bottom hanging around too long. But yeah, that is my list, my Pub Meeple ranking of pretty much every game in my collection as it stands now. And I think this was tough. There were a lot of tough decisions to make, a lot of tough comparisons, and maybe, you know, I don't know how I feel about some of them, but I think overall, I mean, I think this is a pretty good representation of my top games. Especially like the top 15 is pretty much what I thought it would be. Obviously, the order I wasn't sure about, and that was part of the fun of this, is deciding what my #1 game is and so forth. But yeah, that's that. So like I mentioned at the start, this is the first of 3 videos I will be doing over the next month and a half or so. In about 2 weeks, I will be doing another one where I would just be doing a Pub Meeple ranking, but of RPGs I have played. That one will be a lot shorter. And then the last one I will be doing is games that you could play with just a standard 52 deck of cards. Once again, that will also be a lot shorter because there's a lot less games to go through. But I am very curious to do those because RPGs I've played a ton in the last year. A lot of really interesting and fun new RPGs. So I'm really curious to see where those rank, because that I don't have as much of an idea of where stuff would lie. Same with the card games. The games that you can play with just a standard 52 deck of cards, I don't know. I have some that I think I know will be kind of towards the top, but if you ask me like what my #1 game is right now, I couldn't tell you. There are some that I know will be a little bit lower on the list, but I'm curious to see how those will end, so stay tuned for those. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, a like would be greatly appreciated. And until next time, I'll see ya.